The Plein Air Easton Podcast is brought to you by the Avalon Foundation, enriching the lives of those on the Eastern Shore of Maryland through the arts. Visit avalonfoundation.org for details on events, performances, and educational programming offered throughout the year. Today's episode is sponsored by JFM Enterprises, providing distinctive ready-made and custom frames and moldings to the trade since 1974. Visit jfm.net to view their catalog of designs.
I was going to say, no, it feels kind of like home, except for like, it feels kind of like a beach home. Like you go there and you're like, where did I put the stuff? You know what I mean?
Ooh, I love it here. Look at that view.
Here I am. I love it here. Where did I put the laundry detergent?
Is there a can opener?
Light bulbs? Do we have batteries?
Do you think somebody took the can opener from last year? Because, like, I swore there was a can opener in here.
Right. That's what Plein Air Easton feels like this year.
I love it. I like the beach house analogy, too, because it's kind of zen and exciting.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Plein Air Easton Podcast. I'm Tim Wagon with Jess Bellis.
Hello.
Jess, you want to introduce our special guest today?
I'm so excited about this special guest. We've got such a great one here today. It's my dear friend and colleague. Her name is Marie Nuthall. If there was like a clapping track, I would insert it right here. It would be like, applause. We get to talk to Marie. Yay! And we get to talk to Marie about Plein Air Easton 2020.
2022?
Oh, shoot.
Or 2020. We can talk about that, too. That was a good
Don't
one.
erase the years.
Wow, I just have gone totally back in time.
That's all right. That's okay. That's understandable.
Maybe we're gonna talk about all the Plein Air Eastons. Is really what we're gonna
Start
do.
with your first one, Marie.
So, like, Marie, I think that where I want to start, and I'll disclose that Marie feels very uncomfortable being the subject of these interviews, but she's gonna kill it. Marie, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who the heck are you? Where do you come from?
She's French. Aren't you French?
No, I'm actually not French.
What are you?
I am almost 100% Lithuanian, with a lot of European mixed in on my dad's side. I was born in England, and I've lived here ever since I was 2 years old. But
not here in Easton.
I've lived in Easton for, let me see, my oldest son, so 26 years.
Awesome.
26 years.
But you grew up in Maryland, mostly.
Yes. I've lived all my life in Maryland, in some part, but fell in love with Easton 26 years ago because of a waterfowl festival, actually. Came here and was just looked down the streets all dreamy and was like, this is such a beautiful town. I just feel like I need to be here.
I love it. I didn't even know that. And that's like the arts as a connector yet again. So that is a theme that I love to push out there. So when you were growing up, did you feel connected to art?
Yes.
Why? How?
I definitely had an artistic creative streak. I kind of tried to tamp that down in the interest of being the first grandchild in my family to graduate from college, and I felt like I should do sensible things and not things that my heart was being drawn to. So in retrospect, that was probably a big mistake, but you know, it all brings you to where you are today, right?
Absolutely. So what the heck did you go do? You got a degree. You did go to college. You went to break it down. Come on. How'd you get here?
Yes.
See,
you
there's
know
so
the
many
questions she's going to ask.
Right.
This is the first half of her interviews.
Well, and let's be clear. Like, I think that it is interesting. Like, I really do want to get into events management, and I think that it is interesting to find out how
It always works.
How people like land themselves in the jobs that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want to go that track?
She's never listened to one of our podcasts.
Right, yeah.
That is just what we're learning about.
That's
her.
totally not true. That's totally not true. But you know, when the spotlight is shining on you, you tend to not remember all those other podcasts and how that went down. So yes, I did. I had kind of a disjointed college. career. I went to 3 colleges, but I ended up graduating from the University of Baltimore with a marketing degree. I kind of wanted to take, not the advertising aspect of it, but I was interested in the ways that people behaved in the marketplace. And so I was interested in that piece of it. And then it turned out that I didn't do anything with that. My first job was at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. I was working on the Hubble Space Telescope, and
Right, like who knew any of this about Marie? This is why we needed to start the
very
interview
important work,
here.
Marie.
I know, nobody. Everybody's putting their hands up. But the whole studio, if you saw them, everybody's like, what the what?
What
So
did you do for the Hubble?
Wait. She's like, I'm low key an astrophysicist.
Right.
No, that is not my undergrad degree or any of that. I mean, I was in charge of like the projects, like supplies and ordering and things like that, you know, kind of like minutia details that I still find myself in charge of today.
Wait, the ordering and details. Hence why we have the best merch in all of Plein Airdom. Like that's why you love our aprons and our hats and everybody like
It's deep-seated in me.
It's decades worth of ordering.
Exactly.
God, interesting.
And then my first, I was working for McDonnell Douglas, and then I went to work for a small minority contractor and ended up laying out the largest government contract ever awarded to a minority-owned company in NASA's history at the time. And I did all the layout work and the graphic artwork for that proposal. So that was a huge piece of work. And I also organized their holiday party. So that kind of segued into my party planning skills.
I love it. She's like, I did something that was like broke all records and was the biggest and best ever, but I also
planned
made a
parties.
kickbook party happen.
Party planning committee.
I like it.
Totally did. So I am putting the pieces together myself. I'm seeing how all this has come together and led me to you guys.
All those skills, the foundation.
That's
back
right.
to the art. All this brought you back to the art, which you liked when you were
Yeah,
younger.
yeah, exactly.
That calling, that pull was, well, I mean, again, even doing the layout for things, I mean, she found that artistic piece in working for NASA.
Yeah, and even for doing, laying out engineering proposals. I ended up moving here, had my 2 oldest boys, and then I went to work for a fine dining restaurant and caterer, and that led to a whole other 14 years worth of party planning and wedding corralling, and so it was all priming me.
I was going to say,
for you guys.
Deep event planning experience and coordinating of logistics around that time spent there, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So tell me how the heck you found Plein Air Easton and got yourself connected with this wild and wacky event. Because truly, I can't even remember how she started volunteering for us. So like,
I don't remember either.
I learned about the NASA piece, although I'm sure I saw it on her resume at some point and just spaced it. But like, I can picture Marie as a volunteer at Plein Air Easton, but I do not know the origin story of how she started coming in.
Yeah.
So I remember when Plein Air Easton started, because the restaurant where I worked is kind of in the middle of Harrison Street, and you guys used to ask us if you could use our electricity, and we were like running cables up through our windows and stuff to help you guys do checkout for quick draw.
This was before the invention of modern computers or the internet. So
yes, because this is our 18th year, so that was time ago.
They had to unplug their fax machine so that we could run our credit cards from the street.
100% true.
Yes, that is not even, like, the beginning was facetious. The truth was we needed their fax line in order to run credit cards.
We provided water for the quick draw, and my boss loved the event, and that just kind of and I, learned more and more about it through that, and then I just wanted to be a part of it. So I was like, hey, how can I help? How can I volunteer? And that's what started it. And it turns out that restaurant shut its doors after a long time in business, and I was looking for something, and my husband, Sean, found the ad And he's like, this is perfect for you. I wish it was perfect for me, but it's really perfect for you. You should apply for this. And I still remember that interview to this day because I was like, you just don't even know how much I was like born for this. Like, it was just my job.
It makes me want to cry, like in a happy crying way. So then talk about your first year running Plein Air Easton. Like, because I remember your first year running Plein Air Easton very clearly. And whenever you do something for the first time, it is totally not an easy thing. She's blocked it out like childbirth. You should see her face right now. She's like, wait, there was a first year. It didn't look like, it was not a terror face she made. It was more like, duh.
Yeah, the face you have after you finish Plein Air.
Yeah.
Which just happened to me.
Which is probably why afterwards you were like, is she going to come back? I'm not really sure. I was just giving very vague answers.
I was afraid we broke her after that first year because that is how intense it is.
I thought after the third year she was broken. That was the year I was concerned about. That was one where she really kicked in and had a lot, even more and more. Because you guys layered it the way you did it.
That was like
really
disco. By 3 years, she was killing it.
She was pretty tired after 3 years, after the third year. I remember that one.
Meanwhile, Marie's looking at us like, wait, I work here? She like does not even know. She does not remember any Plein Air Eastons.
It is truly like a childbirth because, I mean, I remember parts of it, of course, but it was hard. And it's hard to dismantle what you know about planning events when you transition into an event of this magnitude. Like, the biggest wedding I ever put on and I ever organized does not compare to this event.
12 days of
No.
planning and logistics and multiple venues. And so what are some pointers you would give to somebody who steps into a position like that and they find themselves planning a multi-day, multi-phase event? Is there anything that you would go back and tell Marie of how many years have you been doing this for?
This is my 8th.
8 years ago. Marie, you're sitting down with Marie of 8 years ago. What would you say to her?
I would say think before you panic.
That's good.
That's a really good one. That's the title of this episode.
Yes.
Plein Air Easton 2022. Think before you panic.
Phone a friend, ask for help. I mean, never in my life have I worked for a team that is just so giving and selfless in the way that we support each other. Like, it's not possible without a team that's like, hey, I got this. I've got a solution. I've got, and every single one of us has got a different specialty or knows somebody that can fill a gap, solve a problem. Like, the team, and I don't even know how you arrive at a team that's as spectacular as ours is. It's baffling to me because I would say, well, you need a team like ours. Like, that's really what you need to make a successful
Here's
event.
the advice. Start with a lot of great teammates.
I know. This festival really encouraged me on the highest level to really think of creative solutions. When you're planning a one-day event and you have got a problem, you don't have any window of time to solve for that. You have to like MacGyver stuff or you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, very quickly. And here, we can have another day or, maybe something is 24 hours or 36 hours. We have a little bit of time to solve for issues. So,
but you still need those MacGyver skills, ladies and gentlemen, because things definitely still go wrong during the day.
It's nice to rely on them, but it's just not nice to rely on them 24/7. You know what I mean? It's nice to have it in your back pocket. Like, well, I can always MacGyver this, but I could like really do it high, top quality.
Try to pull the stress out.
Yes. Yeah.
I think those are good. That's good advice.
Yeah, they're really good advice. I mean, yeah, definitely.
I think really it was just a lot of inward, like, how do I approach problems? How can I improve the way that I solve for for issues, or how can I make it easier for other people or clearer for other people to understand. Those are all the big challenges for me that I have enjoyed working on.
I feel like everybody's pretty done talking about the pandemic and all the trauma that we ensued, except for me, who like announced that it was Plein Air 2020 like at the beginning of the show, which just shows how like I wish the last 2 years had like fallen away somehow. But talk to me about the experience of actually being able to execute Plein Air Easton for the last 2 years with all of the crazy constraints of the pandemic.
It is almost a little PTSD
right,
to put yourself back in that time. I mean, it was terrifying. It was terrifying. And I distinctly remember going into Lowe's for something for Plein Air, and I just started bawling and I had to go. And I remember sitting down with you, and it was just like, you know, I don't even know what it was or why it was, you know what I mean? And I remember going all through it, and it was just that, like, the edge of that fear that, you know, is this going to be okay? Is this going to be safe? Is this going to be, are we going to come out on the other side of this, you know, not only in our little community, but, you know, even the whole world at that point. It was just so overwhelming.
I think it was, but like we found a way to like find creative answers to that. You know, I remember so many meetings with Marie, all on my back porch, if anyone wants to know, where the Plein Air of the last few years were planned. And just sort of like my vision was like the big dry erase board being erased. Like I was like, we just have to think about the completely blank board. We can't say, well, last year we did it this way, or for the last 3 years, this is the way we do something, because none of the truths were true at that time. And so it was a real like going back to the drawing board time, and to try to find creative energy during that, I know was very challenging for me.
Yeah, I mean, talk about dismantling everything that I had built up and knew about the festival and that we all did, and just be, you know, we are going to pivot this enormous, and I remember feedback from the artist and, you know, oh, of course, you know, that's probably going to be, you know, not going to happen this year. And I was like, oh no, it's happening.
We're doing something. We're going to do something.
It's totally happening. So yeah, I mean, dismantling it and rebuilding it and doing it in the way that we did is just, it's like one of the shining star moments of the whole past 2 years.
So, but now we're in 2022, and does it feel different? Does it feel the same? Does it feel better? We know we've done like 2 crazy years of COVID Plein Air. I'm not suggesting to anybody that COVID is over, as we got rapid COVID tests to put in our artist orientation buckets, which, you know, we used to give out like sunscreen and bug spray. And now, like, post-pandemic, we're like, oh, here's some COVID tests for you too. But how do you feel? It's 2022. Like, we're going to have another Plein Air Easton, the 18th year.
I think it's better because of what we went through.
We learned things.
Yeah, we absolutely did learn things. And, you know, sometimes we forgot things. And, you know, things that we did 2 years ago that, you know, we have to keep doing those things again. But I think this festival improves every single year. We make sure that is true. We are never like just hitting snooze and phoning it in.
No, new events, new things going on. Tim, how do you feel, like, again, 2022, how you feeling?
Well, I mean, I have come at this from a totally different perspective because, you know, and it's part of my job. I don't feel good until the festival's over and people have come. You know, part of my job, you know, and it gets less and less as we get bigger and bigger, is, you know, to make sure that people are here. So it's always, I mean, but I think this is a classic Eastern Shore summer this year. I fully believe that. It feels like it did, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the summertime, I mean, it just feels really good around here. And, I'll just add to this. I mean, Marie, as far as being ready and how you feel or whatever, you've done an incredible job with this whole thing. And what you've really done, because what people don't really know is that, Jess didn't just give the Plein Air Festival to you. I mean, you weren't, when you first came on, you weren't the person that they were to report to. You were one of the people, if ours had a question, they could report to. But I think over the last 4 or 5 years, or 3 years, 4 years, you let Jess and Al think and plan because you're such a good executor. You really kind of run a lot of this, yourself.
Mostly nobody knows who the hell I am anymore.
Well, you've been able to free them up. I mean, so I hope you feel good about it this year. Because I think there's people coming. I think. I mean, I know 58 artists.
I think there are 58 coming.
I think some of them. Okay, so we're recording this as the day before canvas stamping, just to give people who are in the plein air world a space. And it's they are starting to arrive, and I'm not quite mentally prepared for them yet. And so I'm kind of hiding from them. I'm seeing them, and I'm I'm not ready. That's how I feel a little bit. But I feel from a momentum standpoint, we are back in the game.
Yeah, and if you're into the arts, I mean, this is the place to be, in my mind, in the country. Over this next week. And by the way, all the stuff on the webpage and anything you see electronic, Marie organized.
Marie did it.
Right. We'll be right back in just 1 second.
The 18th annual Plein Air Easton Competition and Festival takes place July 15th through the 24th, 2022. When 58 of the top plein air artists of our time will spend 1 week in Easton, Maryland, competing for thousands of dollars in prizes. Immerse yourself in a week of art exhibits, receptions, free demos, and panel discussions. Purchase exceptional and brand new art for that blank wall. Come for the art and make your summer memories at Plein Air Easton. The full event schedule can be found online at pleinaireaston.com.
We're coming back from the break. We're getting the thumbs up.
We're rolling now, right? We were rolling for that, Nick. We are back with Plein Air Easton Podcast.
We're
Jess
back
Bellis.
at the Plein Air Easton Beach House.
The beach house. We were just talking about how it feels like a beach house. I would say that's a good analogy. Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
Feel like that? Yeah.
Yeah. Feels kind of exciting and sort of something happening.
Right, exactly. Tim hasn't spent enough time at beach houses. That's the real problem.
You lost me when you said laundry detergent. Where's the laundry detergent? I was like, you bring laundry detergent to the beach?
You don't do laundry at the beach?
No, he doesn't do the laundry. Whoever goes with him.
It's a sun wash and ocean wash. That's how you use.
Wow.
See?
Negatory.
You should know that.
That's why we're in charge of some
You can always take showers.
Logistics.
No, there's got to be laundry at the beach. It's just...
So, Plein Air Easton 2022. Tell me what is new and exciting, what you're looking forward to. Break it down for us.
Was new and exciting. I love the alumni artist aspect. I love that there's an opportunity to take a demo from one of the alumni artists that is here. One of the alumni artists, Doug Clark, has enrolled his child in our Plein Air Kids Camp, I think that is just adorable. So he's going to be with us all week. And Garen Baker, Julie Riker, Carol Lee Thompson. There are demos in Tillman.
Why are we bringing back alumni? What is the motivation for that?
The motivation for bringing back alumni is so that the competition artists have an opportunity to squirrel away and be able to work on their competition pieces and their backup paintings or other paintings that they have for sale without us putting more requirements or trying to send people out to find them all the time, because sometimes they're on private properties and not accessible to the public. So we just want to provide programming that engages the public while they may or may not be in town and around.
And that was something that we had sort of kicked off before the pandemic, and then we just could not figure out how to add more moving pieces to the last 2 years.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like welcoming that program back.
Yes.
Awesome. What else?
Absolutely. The headquarters space at 40 South Harrison Street is going to be full of programming from this Sunday, July 17th, all the way through the 24th. And we're going to open every single day, and there'll be an exhibit that grows all week long in that space. We're going to be recording more podcasts for our season 3. How exciting!
We're gonna need people to give like reviews of those live podcasts, because like we sit here and
Careful
do this.
what you wish for.
No, I'm serious though, because like, do you think that the podcasts that are recorded live at the Armory will have the same vibe as the ones that we do here in the basement?
I don't know. I think it's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff going on. I think you guys have done a great job programming. You know, the other thing with the alumni arts coming back is it gives a sense of like sort of history to the festival. It kind of like doesn't make, it's 58 people going out to paint. There's a whole slew of things to do beyond throughout the week if you were into art or any part of the arts. That, you know, really just it kind of grounds it and gives it sort of like a real sort of full, like, in other words, by South by Southwest, they always have the marquee speaker or whatever, you know, and it's kind of feels like that a little bit.
Totally. I think that one thing that I know Nick, our producer, wants us to give a little shout out to is, so the way that this is going to work, if you're listening to this podcast and Plein Air Easton is coming up, you can watch the recording of the podcast live streamed on YouTube, but you're not going to be able to see those right away on whatever platform you listen to this podcast. But Nick will do the regular post-production on it, and they'll be released as part of our season.
So you can
3.
catch it. You're saying you can catch
it
them live
on YouTube, or you can just hang back and wait for it to drop into your subscribed whatever app you like to listen to your podcast in. It will show up there. It just won't be right away. And there's going to be other content, or you can go back and watch it on YouTube because it's going to stay there, along with some other content that won't be featured on the podcast, but are things like panel discussions about different things. I don't seem like I know what's going on. That's because Marie's in charge now, so I don't even know.
But that's what I'm saying. Exactly. And Marie can probably tell you.
That's why we're interviewing her. Marie, tell us about the non-podcast, live podcast recording things that people can tune in on.
On that paper.
Wait a second, she doesn't even know what's going on.
I still need cheat sheets.
No, there's a lot of stuff.
Gosh.
There's a lot of stuff there. There's stuff going on every 45 minutes over in the Army at the home building. One of the other coolest things that people we've grown to know, I think maybe over the last 2 years, is that exhibit that keeps adding paintings every day. You know what I mean? That people really enjoy that whole process.
So let's explain that a little bit more clearly, because again, like as horrific and as traumatizing as Marie described the pandemic and planning events through the pandemic was, like we actually like got some new best practices and some new like cool
100%.
cadence to the event, and one of them is keeping that exhibition in the Armory open and growing and thumping.
Can I just preface this with something? So one of the historical things that we have always heard from the beginning, because this festival spans 10, 11 days sometimes from the point where the canvases are stamped through to the end of the festival, we promote the festival for 10 days. We have people that show up at our information table and they're like, what is going on? You know, especially that first weekend.
Or they even say, we want to look at and buy art. We came here to buy art.
Exactly. Or I'm not going to be here next weekend. I'm only here this weekend, or I'm only here until Monday or Tuesday. So all of these programming, the podcast, the panel discussions, everything that's happening in the headquarters this year is an answer to those questions. Like, we want to give the public something to see, do, participate in the beginning stages of the festival, all the way up through the end. And even
purchase. Give the artists who have traveled from so far. I mean, we've got several international painters this year coming in, traveling so far, opportunities to sell right out of the gate.
So talk about the exhibit now.
What exhibit?
the revolve, the one that keeps adding paint, the Armory, right?
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what you said you were going to talk about. I want to talk about that exhibit a little bit. Did she not say that?
I don't know.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said that. Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
I'm losing it.
Well,
hardcore.
just the
I
whole
think
bringing in of
2020
paintings that we learned from the pandemic.
She's trying to get a vacation the next couple days.
I'm here on the podcast to announce my retirement.
No, you are not.
Effective immediately.
That would not be good for the festival if that happened. But no,
Well, who knows what I just said? But basically, I think that one of the best practices that we learned, like in COVID, was that having it allowed, because we were spreading things out, it gave us the courage and also the need to have more going over more days, which was the answer to a question that had been going on from the beginning.
Exactly.
And we found a pathway to do it. And again, there will be art to buy inside the Armory from hopefully right out of the gate. And certainly in our very first weekend, we have 3 different sort of paint out options, a brand new event that's going to kick off our whole week, which is our block party gallery walk, and then revamped nocturne, which I think is kind of exciting too.
Yes.
You want to talk about that one?
The block party?
Yeah. I like a block party.
yeah, summer block party 2022. It sounds fun to me.
It's a block party at the beach.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
right.
You can visit our beach home.
Right.
Jess has been pounding the pavement, knocking on doors,
Probably
shaking
started in March, didn't you? About
people
that time?
down all over downtown Easton in the historic district. You will come out on Friday and shop in any one of the participating merchants.
And there's 30 of them or something.
Yeah. Over 30 merchants.
Yeah. And there's new ones being added. And for your purchase, is a $25 purchase, you get a raffle ticket for every $25 that you spend at participating merchants. And then at 8:15 in front of the Tidewater, there will be a raffle, and you have to be present to win.
Yep.
And there's going to be live music all over the place. All the vendors will be identified with little balloons so that you can tell easily who is participating in it and who will be handing over raffle tickets for your purchase. And after the drawing, then we'll start the nocturne at 8:30 on the street on Harrison Street, right next to the Tidewater.
No, I think it's gonna be super fun. And the prizes are coming in, and the only thing that I'm bitter about is that we can't win them.
Yeah,
The
prizes are
basket-
spectacular.
We've got some really good stuff that's going to be raffled. But I think that if we want to back this up to the bird level view of it, what is the motivation for having this this block party, and how what are we doing with it? And the nocturne paint out that we've hosted before has not been an event that has been very well attended in the past. We've had varying degrees of participation, but hopefully this sort of shopping event and gallery walk, because there's really cool stuff going on at the local galleries too, brings people into downtown to win those prizes, to wander around, and then they kind of find themselves into the nocturne. Those raffle tickets we're using to thank all of our hundreds of volunteers. So all of our volunteers are getting 4 raffle tickets, which has $100 value, and raffle tickets, incenting them all to come down, support our downtown, participate in the nocturne. And we're also having an open house here at the theater to that is by invitation only, to thank our host families who last year expressed to us that they had felt a little bit disconnected from the event. And so we want to talk to those host families right out of the gate so that they feel really well oriented. So, this is us listening to feedback and trying to solve a problem, and using arts as a community building tool, and thinking, how can we bring in all of these different stakeholder groups to do it? And when I think about event planning, our partners in this are the local Chamber of Commerce and the local Economic Development Corporation. So they're the ones who also have interest in connecting with the businesses. So they were a great organizing partner to come and bring in. And I think that another sort of success key, it is kind of back to your whole ask for help, is if you can find great partners who can come in and lighten some of that load for you, and can achieve some of their own strategic goals doing it.
Right.
I'm hoping that this new event is the start of one that will become an annual event.
Well, and just to pile on to the Marie episode, I mean, this is something that you would not have been able to do if Marie wasn't so good at taking on the primary parts of the festival. You couldn't add these things because you're trying to, getting people to come to a painting festival that lasts 11 days. You're trying to draw crowds, and so you feel it. That's not easy to do. I mean, that's why people have called us in the past. How do you get these? How do you do this? How are you doing this? And we've had nocturnes before, and they weren't terribly attended. They just weren't what you wanted. Right. So being able to go and bring all these people in like that, I mean, again, it's a really, added awesome weekend in Easton, again, around the arts.
Great kickoff event.
Amen. I think that we're back in Oxford and Tillman, like in a much more traditional way than we have been the last 2 years. Do you want to explain that event to people, those events? Because they're structured very similarly. Do you want to explain those events to people who might be listening and like why they are important?
They are important, I know, because of the community involvement, and these towns around us have always wanted to be a part of the festival, and they have so much to offer as far as even just content to paint.
Beautiful towns.
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of born out of that community partnership with other towns. Sunday is Paint Oxford, and the way that it goes is that all the artists or whoever wants to, because it's voluntary, they're not required to paint down there, but they're invited to paint in the town of Oxford all day long. And they get their canvases stamped, and then in the afternoon they bring their completed canvases for an exhibit and sale at the Oxford Community Center, and that goes off from 5 to 6:30, and it's free admission to come in. So you can even the paintings start showing up, I believe, like around 2 or 3 o'clock. They start hanging paintings, and you can go to the community center and just peruse the exhibit as it grows throughout the day. And
there's quite a few people that go to that. That's a really good vibe.
Yeah. And the whole town of Oxford, like you look at around every corner, and there are little coolers,
little signs that say "Artists welcome here."
I know,
like
paint here, help yourself to some water. The restaurants and the Scottish Highland Creamery has got like special ice cream. And
the Oxford Business Association is a sponsor of this event too. They give the artists like $20 in Oxford bucks to be able to spend downtown. Again,
go to the Oxford Market and get the subs at the Oxford Market if you're listening.
Tim really loves those subs. They are really delicious, but Tim does really. So a shout out to Oxford Market too. And I want you to talk about Tillman as well, but why do these events? So Plein Air Easton puts all of this energy into organizing and jurying in 58 artists. Basically, both the town of Oxford and the town of Tillman, they basically are able to run their own mini one-day festival inside of our festival. So we're bringing these 58 artists, we're handling all of those logistics, and then they're stamping canvases and running their own competition and sale within our festival. It's basically so they're getting the benefit of some of our, and again, I put this out there as like a best practice, because I think when you do amass all of these artists, asking yourself, do you have another stakeholder group that could benefit from all of these artists coming to town, and can you introduce those artists to a new group of potential collectors and buyers? For people who aren't familiar with our geography, Tillman Island, which is a beautiful working waterfront community that we'll visit on the Monday of Plein Air Easton this time, is, a good 45 minute drive from downtown Easton. It's not just like right down the block. And so, I think that being able to host something on Tillman is us bringing the event to their actual community, highlighting and elevating their community. And then their community comes out and supports the event in a stronger way than maybe they would if they had to plan the trip up to Easton.
Exactly. And for the first time this year, the Tillman Paint Out is inside the competition.
Right.
So where it used to be a pre-competition event, now anything that the artists paint is also eligible to be a competition painting if it is not sold.
And we have a great venue down there at Wilder Hotel, and they've got great food.
Yeah,
and they have
really
one
come
of the
on board
most
big time.
They have one of the most beautiful sunsets around down on Tillman Island. So again, it encourages both our artists and our collectors to tour about the county and really see from a economic development or tourism standpoint to really get themselves.
Well, you can see that in the because when we started working with the Wilder, I don't know, 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and we said, hey, we're going to have this painting competition. You can book rooms around it or something like that. Was kind of the sort of the how they could benefit. When they came on, Buddy Harrison and those guys did it first, but we were like, let's continue this. And now this year, they've got a whole menu set up. They've got a whole special bar drinks. They got bars in different places.
Yep.
They've really it's great that you see that sort of build over the years.
Yeah, that's excellent. And
a beautiful sunset, like Jess said.
And Tillman Waterman's Museum is the primary sponsor and coordinator for that.
And it's a
event
fantastic
in
place.
Tillman.
I mean, it's a great place to come and check out.
Yeah, did great day trips, both of those.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that's event specific that we should cover? I think that we've got a great guide online. Again, Marie has done such an awesome job putting information out there to jump on board. I think I would end this or work to end this podcast with saying, what do we wish, or what do you wish that artists knew, or what advice would you give to artists participating in a big festival like this? Like, how could artists behave better or be better when participating in competitions?
I would say first and foremost, don't hesitate if you need help or if you feel stuck or, for any reason. I know we have secured car repairs and doctor's appointments, it's just some of the requests that we have fulfilled for them have been exceptional. So I would say definitely reach out if you're feeling like you're lost or lost your mojo or whatever. We can help.
Basically, she's saying ask for help and hope that whatever your event is, that the organizers are as cool as we are. Do you think that that's what she was just saying? No, I think that it goes back to one of your cornerstones.
That's what I'd say to the artist.
Wait, but I like that. That's kind of full circle because asking for help was one of your. Wait, stop.
Me too.
Wait, stop. Think. Do you actually have a problem? Can you solve the problem yourself? Then, if you can't, ask for help. She's back to her. That's good advice for everybody. I think.
And listen to Jess's advice, which is there is no such thing as an arts emergency.
That's been going around for a long time.
I was going to say, which I will quote my ex-husband. That was what he used to tell me. And we're still very good friends. I think that I respect a lot of things about him, even though we did not work out. But he would always just be like, Jessica, there is no such thing as an arts emergency. This is whatever you're stressing about with your whatever it is. Nobody's dying. Nobody's dying. Nobody's dying.
As he blew you off.
Oh, man. This is not an arts emergency. I'm like, it feels like an emergency. You're not hearing me.
That's really
We're
funny.
not unpacking this on the podcast today.
Yeah.
So my advice to artists, and Tim, you're going to have to come up with one too. My advice to artists is way meaner than Marie's, which should not surprise anybody.
Oh,
but you don't want me to say
No.
He's like, oh, geez. He's like, you are so awful.
I said, oh, Jess, is what I was saying. Go ahead.
Which is even worse. Oh, Jess. People say that all the time. I think that you actually should read the communications that come from the festival.
That would be helpful.
Right? See?
Well, everybody loves
actually,
those. When you go through, that takes a long process. Is this a good thing to say? You've vetted that thing over the course of 18 years almost, and people walk away like, wow, what a great thing to read. I wish I had read it. So you're right. You know what I mean?
So what Tim is referring to is we do send out a lot of written communication to the artists, and then we have found we oftentimes have to read that same information to them out loud at orientation, because otherwise people act like it's the first they've heard of these. They're like, wait a second, that's a rule? Nobody told me about this. And I'm like, okay, here's when it was emailed to you. Here's where it's in the prospectus when you agreed. Then here's where we sent it to you. Then this is the recording of us reading it out loud to you that's kind of how it goes down. So I would just say that kindergarten skill of listening, reading comprehension, listening to and following instructions. Like, that's really good advice for people who are coming to participate in an arts festival.
It has proven to be so over the last, because I've been paying attention to that for the last 6 or 7 years, and you're right about that. Yeah, they should read that thing.
What is your advice to an artist coming to participate in Plein Air Easton? Does it have to do with hydration or ticks? No, just kidding.
No TikTok.
No, I mean, my I've been, since doing the podcast, just really been focused on, what kind of light you could really paint, and I would just, so I've been driving around the county, as I've been driving around in my life, because I just got a car last year. Normally I just rode the same street.
This is when somebody who's listening to the podcast turns to their partner and they're like, "How old is Tim? He just got a car? Do you think he's like 17?"
I sound older than I am. No, just there's a lot of, the light is very, if you really sort of look at it, I just understand what they're saying. So just look for the unique spots, because I've seen quite a few as I've been listening over this podcast. Like, that's what you're kind of looking for.
Tim just reminded me too that he got hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of fine plein air painting supplies because of this podcast, because he asked for it because of this podcast. He was like, I know what I want for Christmas. And then his friend Jessica totally spaced about what he wanted for Christmas, because I'm not actually Santa Claus, everybody. But then I remembered in time for his birthday. He reminded me that I had spaced what he wanted for Christmas and reminded me what to get him for his birthday. Hundreds of dollars of painting supplies. And I don't know that he's done any plein air painting.
I will tell you
But if
this.
he does not in the next 10 days, that's how I'm going to know somebody listened to this podcast. Is when you say, Tim, you should say, Tim, have you been painting?
I will tell you, it was funny you brought that up, because I've been looking for something to put my time into, and I just found it last night. And so
He found that use of light.
I saw the light that I wanted to paint last night, and
He's going to go big with his
it's going to be very hard, but I'm going to try it. It's not going to look
Well, thankfully, you're going to have a week's worth of demos to watch in the Armory. I can't imagine how much you're going to learn in the next. Truly, you've got like the best gig, because you're going to be present for all this stuff. Like, you're going to come out a better painter.
Last night, I did the first thing. I like squinted my eyes and just looked for all the black first. Like, okay, that's what I'm going to start with painting first. So
Nice.
yeah. So anyway, I found it last night. So thank you for that gift.
You're welcome.
See, and I always want to, and then there's no way I can.
You're not going to paint
even
plein air. You'd have to go to another
listen
festival.
or any of it.
You would have to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got some business to take care of here. Don't forget, come to the Plein Air Easton Festival, and as Jess always says, buy art. I mean, that has been our mantra for a long time.
That's why I'm not the marketing manager. Is I think that's what the slogan should be.
Right.
It's just like buy art, and Tim's like, too aggressive, not great. Now that we know Marie has this big marketing background, she's like, nope, that is not the slogan. I think it should be. Plein Air
Actually,
Easton, buy art.
Well,
that is the slogan on the tattoos I had printed this year.
Right.
I had these little colorful tattoos.
We
and it
all
just
say
says,
what we want, but we all end up doing what Jess says. So that it makes it easy for the hierarchy. Don't forget to listen to the live broadcast during the festivals. They'll be on our YouTube channel, youtube.com, Plein Air Easton. On the 17th of July, it's Julie Riker. On the 18th of July, it's Georgiana Lenson. And on the 19th, it's Robert Simone, or Simon. I think, Simone. And then they'll be out again after that as well.
And you can watch those in person at the Plein Air Easton headquarters at 40 South Harrison Street, or watch them live on YouTube if you are not in Easton, or you can wait until they are released later.
Also, too, on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, that is youtube.com/Plein Air Easton. There's the Beyond the Canvas roundtable discussions. There's a fresh paint showcase with the director of the Academy Art Museum, Sarah Jesse. And there's the award ceremony and the judges talk. So don't forget those. Again, this is the best place to be in America over the next week for arts and painting. And if you have a friend who likes it, if you have a kid who likes it, that has been going around. People have been tagging, hey, I know you're into this. Do that, because they will enjoy it. There's so much stuff going on at the Armory. If you don't catch an artist, that you are going to get your artistic sort of like
fix.
Yeah, you're gonna get inspired. So we'd love to welcome you at Plein Air Easton, Jess.
Yeah, if you are in town and you're a podcast listener, I know I said I've been hiding from Plein Air artists, but I will not hide from you. Come and say, hey, tell us that you're listening. Tell us who else you'd like for us to speak with. Like us, review us, come to Plein Air Easton and experience this great event for yourself. You won't regret it. How about that? You won't something. And the other thing that I now have 2 instructions. One is, if you see Tim, be like, have you used the paints that Jess got you? And then we'll know you're a podcast listener. And if you see Marie, I want you to really take a beat and thank her for all of the work that she has done on behalf of Plein Air Easton, because this festival would not happen without all of her efforts. And she really is the belle of the ball. So it's really important that you walk up to her if you like any of this content, if you're having a good time at the festival, and square her shoulders and tell her how much you appreciate all of her work.
Yeah, and if her and her husband Sean are kissing, don't do. They kiss all the time.
Oh my gosh, no, did you see that group picture from yesterday? He totally has his hand on her butt. And then I was thinking, oh my God, if people don't know that she's married to him, it's going to be like a whole new scandal.
I know. She comes to work smiling every day.
All right, Plein Air Easton.
Thank you for listening.
The Plein Air Easton Podcast is brought to you by the Avalon Foundation and was produced by Nick Richards. Our theme music was generously provided by Blue Dot Sessions. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. You can learn more about Plein Air Easton at pleinaireaston.com.